Hey everybody, what's going on? So Auburn yesterday fired Gus Malzahn. So I didn't really see this coming quite yet, especially since they, you know, signed him to a big contract. What was it, a couple seasons ago or whatnot? So this comes after their win against Mississippi State. I know they've had like a rocky road the last couple seasons. It seems probably more than that if you really go back and trace it. I'm not an Auburn fan. Don't like Gus Malzahn, even though Gus Malzahn graduated from the same school that I got my master's from. I just don't like him. I've never cared for him. He's just one of those guys that is unlikable to me. That's my opinion, of course. I know a lot of people does like Gus Malzahn, but what is next for the Auburn football program? I don't really know who's even on the market to even coach right now. So, of course, I'll give my intake on it. I am really surprised about this, but then again, I'm kind of not. So, this comes from Sporting News, actually. So, it says, why did Auburn fire Gus Malzahn? Pandemic buyout, recruiting raised questions about decision. So, I'm going to go through this and give my intake on it, what I think about it. What they wrote, college football's longest running game of chicken has finally ended. Gus Malzahn has been fired by Auburn following a 6-4 regular season in 2020. Auburn on Sunday announced they have fired Malzahn, who finishes with a career record of 68-35, 39-27 SEC play. His final game was a 24-10 over Mike Leach and Mississippi State on Saturday. After evaluating the state of Auburn football program, we've decided that it was time to make a change in leadership, Auburn Athletics Director Alan Green said in a statement. We appreciate everything that Gus did for the program over the last 8 seasons. We will begin a search immediately for a coach that can help the Auburn program consistently compete at the highest level. So, I'm actually surprised that Gus actually stayed that long, because he likes to kind of skip and jump, it seems like, in my opinion. So will he ever coach again? I'm sure somebody will pick him up. And if you hear something in the background, I'm sorry, it's a cat. She's almost 15 and acting like she's 2. So, anyhow, let's jump right back into this. Okay, so Joe Green, president of Auburn University, said Coach Malzahn led the Auburn football program with honor and integrity. We appreciate his service to Auburn athletics, Auburn University, and in particular our student athletes. We wish him and Christy all the best. I do agree he loved that Auburn football program. I'm not saying that he didn't. Auburn really pretty much opened him with arms wide open again. So after he left Arkansas State with 1 season underneath the belt. Now, the move, which has been debated seemingly over the year after Malzahn led the Tigers to 2014 BCS championship game in his first season, still comes to a surprise amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Auburn said it would pay him the remainder of his contract, which I believe they have to. According to their contract, a reported $21.45 million they still owe him, and actually they're going to pay him a certain percentage, I think, later on this week or within the next 2 weeks, is what I heard on the news yesterday. So, this during a pandemic that has vastly reduced the income produced due to reduced ticket sales. I don't think that this was the main reason why they fired Gus Malzahn, because you look at all these other universities, they're not firing their coach because they can't afford to pay him. So that's just my opinion. I think some things are just, they kind of had a falling out, and we're just not going to know about it. I mean, if we do, it'll be later down the road. But it's really hard to say, right? So even without the optics of Malzahn's tremendous buyout, Auburn's move may still come to surprise the fans and observers alike. He is one of the more accomplished coaches in the SEC, leading the Tigers to a 2013 SEC championship, a berth in 2014 BCS championship game, and a 2017 SEC West Division title. He never suffered a losing record, but often to the frustration of fans and administration, failed to get the most from his teams, which broke through for double-digit win seasons only twice. Malzahn's bowl record was decidedly less successful than his regular season tenure, though he led the Tigers to a bowl game in each of his 7 years on the Plains, including the BCS Championship in 2013 and New Year's Day Sis Bowls in 2016, Sugar Bowl, and 2017 Peach Bowl. He was still 2-5 all time in bowl games at Auburn, which is pretty bad. Perhaps Malzahn's best metric was his record against Nick Saban in Alabama at 3-5 all time. Malzahn, I thought it was 2-5. I'm confused. Okay, whatever. Malzahn easily had the most success against Saban. And indeed, LSU coach at Oregon, I know that's not how you say it, Oregon, I don't know, is 1-5, is the only other SEC coach to claim victory against Saban. That raises the question: who could Auburn possibly look to replace Malzahn in his attempt to pull even with the Crimson Tide? That's the big battle right now. It's basically you have to beat Alabama so many times or whatever and win bowl games, right? So the most answer in the firing is Liberty coach Hugh Freeze, formerly of Ole Miss. I don't see Auburn bringing Hugh Freeze in. Now they could, but I don't see it possible. He's the only one of the two coaches, the other being former LSU coach Les Miles, to beat Saban in consecutive seasons since he took over at Alabama. Now, honestly, I'm not huge on Les Miles, but LSU kind of did do him dirty. But I'm saying that he could possibly leave Kansas and go to Auburn. Now, I doubt that would happen, but it wouldn't be a shock to me if that does happen. So, Freeze's Ole Miss tenure ended in disgrace. That's why I don't think that he would actually coach in the SEC again. But then again, I could be wrong. So, because he had that recruiting scandal, Freeze's success at Liberty, a combined 17-6 record in the last 2 seasons. But it's Liberty. Look who they are playing in a way. You know what I'm saying? Yes, that's a good record for Liberty, but still, you know what I'm saying? I really did have so much respect for Hugh Freeze until all of the recruiting scandal came out against him. So I was really surprised that Liberty actually hired him. Now, they think that it's the Auburn's prime target is him. I don't know. It's hard to say. Other coaches include former Saban disciples, Louisiana coach Billy Napier, Oregon coach Mario Cristobal, and Alabama offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian. I think that he might actually, Sarkisian is actually probably looking forward to coach as a head coach again. And so I think that he might be a good fit with Auburn. I look forward to seeing who that they're going to hire or who might be in the running for it. So we will see. And, of course, I'll give my update on it, what I think about it. But that's pretty much it for today. But this decision will come mere days before the start of early signing period. Is another question fans and observers can ask about Auburn's decision. So what's going to happen, what Auburn's going to do. I think they got an interim coach right now, but I don't know who they appointed. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. Gus will probably have a job by next year at some point, or at least by the end of spring, before spring is up, because, I don't know. Anyway, I see that happening. I don't see Gus standing down anywhere without a job. But then again, he's got that contract buyout, so he doesn't have to work for a while, unless he just wants to coach. So we'll see what's going to happen about that. I don't know if he signs with another program, if he's going to be able to get that money from Auburn. I don't know what their contract details are like. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have not already, please hit that subscribe button. Comment down below what you think is going to happen with Gus and then with the Auburn program, who's going to take Gus's spot. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. See ya.